Welcome to JewishTV.media. Today we're going to talk about the crucifixion of Jesus. Did we do it? Are we proud of doing it? Or maybe we didn't do it at all. Who knows? We'll find out. So, where are we going to look to find out about who crucified Jesus? Well, we can't go to anywhere in the Jewish literature because we never kept a record of it. Because realistically speaking, at that time in the year, around the year 30, 33 of the Common Era, some people call it the Common Era, well, at that time, Jewish people had no ability to actually to execute the capital punishment to anybody. And so therefore they clearly could not have killed him themselves. So the question is whether or not the Jewish people asked for Jesus to be crucified as described in the book of Matthew. Well, realistically speaking, if we're going to go with the gospel account of when exactly Jesus was crucified, most Jewish people would have been at home either preparing for the Pesach Seder or actually partaking in the Pesach Seder. They would not have been together with Pontius Pilate, which would have actually defiled them and would have caused them to not be able to partake in the Paschal Lamb. So it doesn't make any sense to go with the theory that the Jewish people killed him himself, or B, were the ones that asked for Jesus to be crucified. Now, it's also important to understand that when we talk about the Jewish people back in those days, there weren't just one group of Jews. In fact, there were many, many Jews that were living in the diaspora already, and there were many Jews who did not have anything to do with Jesus, his preaching, his teaching, or his crucifixion. You see, let's imagine that this guy Jesus, according to even the most liberal of accounts, right? He had a 3-year ministry. How many people do you think he touched? How many people do you think actually came to him? I don't know, 5,000? 10,000? But, you know, back in those days, the Jewish people were 10% of the Roman Empire. So we're talking about millions of Jews. And here you're talking about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 people who may have heard about Jesus, come into contact with Jesus. And when you're talking about in Jerusalem itself, during the Passover, you think everybody was running to Pontius Pilate to call for the death of some street preacher? I highly doubt it. And so therefore, the only conclusion we have is that the Jewish people were not collectively responsible for the death of Jesus. If there were a few people calling for his death, it was most likely the Sadducees, because he was the biggest threat to them. As far as they're concerned, calling yourself the Messiah is really a claim to the throne, and that would have gotten the Sadducees into trouble with the Roman legions and with Pontius Pilate. And so perhaps they felt that Jesus was becoming a nuisance and was putting them in danger, and maybe they called for his death. But as far as the rest of the Jews, they probably didn't even pay any attention to Jesus whatsoever. Thank you for joining us today at JewishTV.media.
JewishTV.media